So the agenda for today is what CFIA expects, what happens when you are non-compliant, real-world examples of enforcement actions, how to stay audit ready, and eventually question and answer. So let's dive in. So why this matters? Canadian food imports are facing more regulatory scrutiny than ever before. With increasing global trade and heightened consumer expectations, the CFIA is tightening oversight, especially around labeling, allergens, and traceability. Non-compliance doesn't just mean product recalls or border rejections. It can lead to serious reputational damage, disrupted operations, and even legal consequences. In short, food safety isn't just about ticking boxes. It is a business risk and brand trust issue. Getting it right protects both your product and your credibility. So, who is CFIA and what do they regulate? The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, or CFIA, is Canada's federal authority for food safety, plant and animal health, and consumer protection. Their mandate is grounded in key legislation like the Safe Food for Canadians Act and the Food and Drugs Act, laws that apply to everyone from food manufacturers to importers. Whether you're selling locally or bringing in goods from abroad, they are the gatekeepers ensuring your product meets Canadian standards. At this stage, I think I'll take a pause and ask a question to you guys and let me know your thoughts. I hope the poll is up on your screen. All right, I'll just give you a few more seconds. So let's see what the results tell us. Okay, it's a 50-50. Interesting. So now moving on with our topic. So overview of compliance and enforcement policy. CFIA's approach is clear. The goal is compliance first, with enforcement only when necessary. They use a risk-based, graduated approach, meaning actions are proportional to the nature and severity of the issue. Minor labeling errors may lead to warnings, while serious violations like unapproved ingredients or missing traceability documents can trigger recalls or legal action. Common issues include incorrect labels, lack of documentation, undeclared allergens, or failure to maintain preventive controls. The emphasis is on preventing problems before they occur through well-documented systems and training, not reacting once something has gone wrong. Types of CFIA enforcement actions. CFIA takes a tiered approach to enforcement, starting with the mildest response and escalating as needed. At the lower end, you might receive a verbal or written warning or a letter of non-compliance. If the issue persists or poses a higher risk, CFIA can seize or detain goods or even suspend or cancel your license. For more serious or repeated violations, they may issue administrative monetary penalties, mandate a recall, or in extreme cases, pursue prosecution. The message is clear. The greater the risk to public health or the integrity of the food system, the stronger the enforcement response. So what are the decision-making factors? When deciding how to respond to non-compliance, several key factors guide the CFIA's approach. First, the severity of the risk to human or animal health or potential impact on trade that's critically assessed. The agency also considers the compliance history of the businesses involved. Repeat offenders may face stricter actions. Intent plays a role too, distinguishing between accidental mistakes and willful violations. Cooperation with the CFIA during investigations can influence outcomes positively. Lastly, whether the business has taken corrective action promptly is an important factor that shows their commitment to compliance and safety. I'll take another pause here and watch out on your screen for another poll question. And let's see what all of you think about this. I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Wow, so we have 100% responses saying businesses do not have documented corrective action process ready in case of non-compliance. Now that is concerning. So as mentioned in the agenda, now we'll look at a real world case. In April 2016, the CFIA issued a recall for an organic berry cherry blend after it was linked to a multi-province hepatitis A outbreak. This outbreak resulted in 25 confirmed cases across Ontario, Quebec, and Newfoundland and Labrador, highlighting the serious public health risks involved. More recently, in 2022, another hepatitis A outbreak in Alberta and Saskatchewan was traced to imported fresh organic strawberries. Although no official recall was issued, the CFIA launched a food safety investigation and issued a public health warning to protect consumers and prevent further spread. Now let's take a look at another real-world case. In February 2025, a company issued a Class 1 recall of its fried falafel with tahini sauce across Alberta, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Ontario. This was triggered when the CFIA discovered undeclared peanuts in the product, a severe allergen risk that could cause life-threatening reactions. The recall was initiated following a consumer complaint, demonstrating CFIA's proactive enforcement approach. The product was swiftly removed from shelves across multiple provinces, with CFIA conducting a thorough investigation and verifying the product's complete removal to protect public health. Now, let me ask you here, have you experienced a situation where a minor non-compliance was corrected before enforcement action? The poll is up on your screen. I am waiting for your answers. I'll give you a few more seconds. All right, so we have 100% yes on having experienced a situation where a minor non-compliance was corrected. Now that's a good thing. That's encouraging. Now let's take a look at recall classification. Recalls are classified based on the level of risk posed to consumers. Class 1 recalls represent the most serious risks, such as the presence of allergens or harmful pathogens, which could cause severe health issues or even death. Class 2 recalls involve moderate risks like spoilage or undeclared ingredients, which may cause temporary health problems or minor health concerns. And finally, Class 3 recalls are for low-risk issues, such as mislabeling that does not affect consumer health, but still requires correction to maintain transparency and compliance. So what CFIA expects from importers? The CFIA expects importers to maintain a safe food for Canadians or SFC license that includes an effective import preventive control plan. Importers must keep detailed records, including supplier verification, traceability information, and lot codes to ensure full accountability. Additionally, importers need to act swiftly when issues arise. This means being able to initiate recalls promptly, notify the CFIA without delay, and thoroughly investigate root causes to prevent future risks. I have another question for you at this juncture, and let's see what you have to say. I'll give you a few more seconds to answer the poll. All right. So looks like all of you have a designated person or a team to handle CFIA communications, and that's great. So now how to stay compliant? So having a team designated to handle CFIA communications, it's definitely an attempt towards staying compliant. To stay compliant with CFIA regulations, it's also important to conduct regular internal audits to identify and address any gaps in your processes, keeping documentation up to date, which ensures transparency and readiness for inspections. Regular testing of product samples helps catch issues early, and building strong relationships with your suppliers allows you to better manage risks. Training your team on compliance requirements empowers everyone to maintain standards. And finally, responding quickly to any CFIA concerns demonstrates your commitment to food safety and helps avoid escalation. So the last point or topic that we will touch in our webinar here is what if you have done all that you could do and the CFIA still contacts you? Now, if the CFIA contacts your business, the best approach is to stay calm and cooperate fully. Provide any requested documents quickly and accurately to help the investigation proceed smoothly. Avoid hiding information or delaying responses, as this can increase the severity of enforcement actions. If you are unsure about how to handle the situation, it is wise to consult a compliance expert or legal counsel to ensure you navigate the process correctly and protect your business. Thank you so much for attending and paying attention and participating in the polls, and hope you like the content and the topics covered in this presentation.
For food and agriculture businesses, your compliance is more than a requirement. It's the key to success. But navigating Canada's complex regulations can be overwhelming. Non-compliance and result in penalties, fines, and reputational damage. Introducing AgriAssure, your AI-powered compliance partner. Simplify approvals for importing food and agriculture products to Canada or launching locally. AgriAssure automates compliance assessments, evaluating your products in minutes. It flags risks, outlines label requirements, permits, and tests needed. Need guidance? AgriAssure gives you step-by-step instructions to meet CFIA and Health Canada standards with a compliance score and gap analysis. Achieve a 100% compliance score with expert help, templates, and document tracking to ensure you're audit ready. Need more help? Book a call directly with a food safety expert through AgriAssure for tailored guidance. Accelerate approvals, reduce costs, and confidently enter the Canadian market. Get compliant, get approved, get selling. Try AgriAssure today.